Please, 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 please,
Mr. Deputy
please.
Speaker, sir, I rise to make a statement on the Supreme Court's interim order yesterday on the Ayodhya issue. At the outset, I wish to categorically and unambiguously state that the government will implement the court's order in letter and spirit.
Please.
I had said this in the Lok Sabha on March 11th, even before the court had delivered its ruling. I reiterate it today. I have said on numerous occasions, both in Parliament and outside, that the Ayodhya issue can be resolved either through a mutual agreement between the concerned parties or through a judicial verdict. The same was also restated by the government through the President's address to the two houses of Parliament on February 25, 2002. The government has requested the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court to expeditiously give its verdict on the title suit in respect of the disputed site in Ayodhya. Simultaneously, in the past few weeks, I have received several organizations and individuals belonging to both Hindu and Muslim communities for a consultation on the Ayodhya issue. The government is pleased that a dialogue process between representatives of the two communities has resumed. His Holiness Jagadguru Shankaracharya of Kanchi Kamkoti Peetham held discussions with members of certain Muslim organizations and eminent Muslim individuals on a possible basis for an amicable and mutually acceptable resolution of the issue. Although his efforts have so far not yielded the desired results, the government believes that the dialogue between representatives of the two communities should continue. If negotiations do not produce a mutually agreeable resolution of the issue, both sides should abide by the court's verdict. The government received a letter from the Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas on March 8, 2002, requesting permission for performing a symbolic puja on March 15 on the acquired undisputed land in Ayodhya as a part of its 100-day Purnahuti Yajna. The government then took the view that the decision to allow a puja or not would be in accordance with the orders that may be passed by the Supreme Court on March 13. No affidavit or written submissions were filed on behalf of the government. It was only after the conclusion of the Petitioners' Counsel's argument on being asked by the court that the Attorney General submitted that on his reading and interpretation of the Supreme Court's judgment in Farooqi's case in 1994, temporary use of the disputed adjacent land for the purpose of performing puja was not per se prohibited and would not violate the status quo order passed by the Supreme Court, as this status quo order was referable only to the disputed site and not to the undisputed acquired land. The government had made this point clear through the President's address to the two houses of Parliament on February 25, 2002. I quote the relevant sentence: "The Government of India, being the statutory receiver, is duty-bound to maintain the status quo at the disputed site in Ayodhya. It is the constitutional duty of the Attorney General to interpret a law or a judgment of the court when asked by the court to do so. This is what the Attorney General did when the Supreme Court asked him yesterday if a symbolic puja on the undisputed acquired land in Ayodhya was permissible. The Attorney General submitted that even if the puja was not prohibited by any previous judgment or order of the Supreme Court, the same could be permitted only under well-defined conditions and strict restrictions, which by way of illustration he indicated for the court's consideration. He further stressed that if any further safeguards and restrictions were considered necessary, the same could be imposed by the court. The court, however, expressed the view that no puja or religious activity of any kind should be permitted or allowed to take place on the 67 acres of land in village Kot Ramachandra, which is vested in the central government. The court made it clear that its order was an interim order and was subject to further orders which may be passed in the pending writ petition. It is clear from all this that the government has kept its commitment of going by the orders of Supreme Court in the matter of a symbolic puja on the undisputed acquired land in Ayodhya on March 15th. I wish to assure the House that adequate preparations have been made to maintain law and order in Ayodhya and to ensure that the 13th March order of Supreme Court is adhered to. I take this opportunity to appeal to all the political and non-political organizations across the country to cooperate with the central government as well as with respective state governments to maintain peace and communal harmony. Thank you.
Now, please.